we are privileged to have an experienced, seasoned, sought out realtor and a mentor in the real estate industry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for having me again. I'm delighted to be here, even to get another opportunity. And I hope that our discussion will be productive and that the people out there will come out the wiser.
I've gotten a lot of feedback based on our prior discussion, and that is actually why I called you back. Having been in the industry for over 15 years, it's not something that we can overlook, your level of experience. And there's so many people who want to become realtors. And people are asking, are there any challenges that we as realtors face? Are there any risks that we've been able to fall into? And how can we overcome them? So, based on your experience, what are some of the challenges you've been able to undergo through in this journey of real estate, real estate investing?
Thank you once again. Usually you find that everywhere you go and in life it's full of challenges.
Yes.
So there is not that one particular thing that you'll say is a smooth flow. Same case here in real estate. There are good days, there are bad days.
Yes.
But usually we want to make them good days all through.
And what always says success is on the other side of failure. So if you don't go through the failure, you'll never learn. So these are some of the learning process that has made you better, has made me better. When you fail, you now think of a good solution. So what are the challenges you have faced so far with your 15 years plus experience as a realtor?
Some of them, like I would say, is that everywhere in life there are challenges. You have good days, you have bad days, but mostly you have good days, and we thank God for that. This business or this industry that we are in is capital intense, such that the money at stake is always formidable. The figure, I mean, you will feel, you will surely feel the pinch.
Yes.
In case anything goes wrong.
Yes.
And some of the challenges that really faces a realtor is maybe a client comes and they want you to sell your property. But when you go asking for the documentation, it's taking so long, or they are not open and forthright about even that property.
Yes.
The other issue is, even when they are going to show you the location of that property, they are not even able to identify the beacons of that property. Even they are not sure whether the property they want you to sell for them is there.
Yes.
So those are challenges, because even you are not sure whether that property is real, or whether it is really theirs.
Yes. And that is why even for us, I always say, even as we are selling properties on behalf of people, that we need to do the due diligence.
And in fact, I remember one time someone had, when you were starting up, someone had made a title and created an ID of the title holder. And we were to buy that property, and this guy, that time I had a partner, and I remember I went to Nairobi looking for money, and I left my partner to be shown the land by now the real owner, in quotes. And this guy comes and says, your name is Terry, isn't it?
Yeah.
He says, my name is Terry Wairibo.
Yes.
Your name is it.
Yes.
And this is my ID. This is the title deed. This is it. And then a friend of mine, fortunately, because I am around for a long time there,
Yeah.
came and found us viewing that property. I said, who is selling this property to you? He said, there's this guy, and this guy knew the original owner.
Ah.
And he called him.
Yes.
So before we could pay,
Yes.
the original owner came and found this guy who was imitating him. And he was asking this guy, what's your name? And the guy says, I'm Terry Wairimu, you know, assuming it's him. And he had the ID and everything. And that guy was rescued by police from lunching.
Ah, because now you've even a mob almost lynched him. Eh?
Yes, yes. So those are some of the challenges. The other one is, I remember you buy a property from an owner,
Yes.
we have not discussed it with the family,
Yes.
and just before the process ends,
Yes.
someone goes and puts a caution,
Yes.
stops, says, I was not involved, maybe the children.
Yes.
One time, one son did that, and they had come to me, I had to pay them some extra money
Extra
to
money.
allow the process to go on. So, and especially sometimes the buyers may not inform their spouse, which
Yes.
becomes another big problem.
Yes.
So those are some of the challenges that we go through.
And if we may put it across that as you're doing land transfer, a spousal consent is required. So that in writing, that is their signature is required, so that we don't have this kind of issues. But remember, in most cases, you'll have gone through a big portion of the process. So I think before you undertake this process, you need to meet, if it's a husband, meet the wife, and then now you move together.
Actually, the other thing, like you are putting it, is that, and I remember one time I went to buy some land somewhere in Gatatoek in Kajiado.
Yes.
And then these guys who were selling to us took us to an open space. And then they brought the owner, who could not communicate in either Kiswahili or English, needed an interpreter.
Yes.
Now, this person doesn't know, I mean, he's very genuine, he's the owner,
Yes.
he comes with the title and the wife.
Yes.
But the location of that property
Yes.
is very different. And then you realize that wherever you've been shown,
Yes.
because of that problem of communication,
Yes.
and wherever the land is,
Yes.
are two totally different locations. I remember when it happened, and then I realized something was wrong.
Yes.
And the following day, I went back
Mm-hmm.
and decided to go home, every home,
Yes.
and ask them whether they know this guy,
Yes.
the owner.
Yes.
And then I was told this guy is 100 kilometers away. Real story. 100 kilometers away. And then I went there, I met the area chief, and I met them. The land seller was very genuine, they were selling.
Yes.
But the brokers,
Yes.
because they wanted you to buy it,
Yes.
that's why they showed you where you want.
That's the thing. You have already specified the location.
Yes. They show you where they want. Everything else, even when you cut, that the search is good,
Yes.
but the location.
Yes.
Mm.
Sorry, and that is how the coordinates now are assisting.
That they are helping, very helpful. That I really say kudos to the Ministry of Lands for coming up with that, because I have fallen victim to that. And sometimes these things, even when you are seasoned, you may not really, you capture them when it's already too late.
Yes.
Yes. So the issue of location, the issue of documentation, then the other challenge is now when you are also selling these properties.
Yes.
And then you start the process, and maybe someone was to acquire a facility to pay off the balance,
Yes.
they paid the deposit,
Yes.
and then they are unable. You give them time, 90 days, you give them another 30 days, 90 days, and they are completely unable to purchase.
Yes.
Then it becomes a tug of war.
You
on
don't
how-
want to return back the money. You are hoping they are going to finish up the payment.
Yes, yes, and then you realize now they are tying up your property, you've tried to help them,
Yes.
and it is very heartbreaking even for you when you are adding that transaction, because that's not how you had started it.
Yes.
You wanted it completed. So that usually that's a big challenge which happens a lot. Or
Yes.
someone in the middle passes on or loses a job,
Yes.
and we have some cases that have really taken too long. You find that this guy, when he was okay, was very helpful.
Yes.
You really work together,
Yes.
and you really want to give them time, but I mean, at the end of the day, something
It
has
can,
to
yes.
happen.
There's that just time that you can be patient and give somebody.
So that's a challenge when maybe the transaction ends in the middle, before it is completed.
There's also this other challenge I've gotten. Somebody has not been to let's say Kitengela, or you show somebody property and they take even more than 2 months to communicate. You've shown them the property, they've not yet communicated whether they want the property or not. Has this been a challenge to you?
Some people have come through to me even to induct them into this. And you see, this guy takes a whole year. He has never sold anything. A whole year goes. So, and then you tell them, you have to be patient up until when. This is a challenge across board, even in many industries. But in real estate, you'll find that, especially now, even the clients are very enlightened. And it's not like those old days maybe you are the only one who's telling them about them. They're even coming here to widow shop.
Yes.
And by the time this client comes to you, he has gone all over the country. He's in everywhere.
Yes.
Even knows some of those plots even better than you. And it is a major challenge. What I would say is that, and what I've come to realize is that your client is your client. If they are meant to buy from you, they will buy from you. But what I would say is that out of 10,
Yes.
is only one person will buy. Reason not because they do not want,
Yes.
not because they've not liked your property,
Yes.
but some come when that idea of buying comes. So they'll come and they want to now go and replan or strategize.
Yes.
Or even start looking for finances.
Yes.
But because that idea came, and they are very interested,
Yes.
but that money is not at hand. Eventually, maybe you'll get the money even after a year it happens, or even 6 months, and then they'll come back. But more often than not, they don't come back. But again, ndio tunasema earth is hard.
Yes. And we are ready to take the hard of that earth.
Yes.
What keeps you going as a realtor?
What happens is that eventually you know that, especially when you create that goodwill and people know you and know your properties,
Yes.
and know that you've never had any challenge, you've never had any scandal, people become your market. It's just like the way you start a business and everybody knows it. From there, when you're quiet, just call, come, and those people who are referred most of the time, because they have been given the experience of people you sold to,
Yes.
they are very comfortable. They don't even go to other people. Come to you, buy in. But now, by the time you get there, you're being paid for all those days you could stay a whole year. And every day you take people all the way to Namaga. You have spent fuel, you even bought them lunch, and they are. In fact, let me tell you, the other challenging thing is that after that day you call them, they don't pick your phone.
It's
You
true,
call them,
because I've also had the same experience,
Yeah.
whereby you are almost, when you're starting up, you're saying, oh, I'm so sure that person is going to buy. But for me, it has reached a point of, until I see the money in the bank, that's the time I call it a successful sale. What I've come to realize in this industry is that for you to be successful, you need to have patience. And it is not something that you're patient 1 day, 2 days, and you give up. Be patient until you get that breakthrough. Has it been the same for you?
Actually, this is one of the biggest tests in patience. And some days, like I was saying, you can spend a whole year. And the worst case scenario is when you have even convinced a client and they are coming, then they say, before they bring you that check, they go back to the location, and then they meet someone there, tell them, I have a cheaper one. One time it happened, they even had carried a banker check, saying, now you are waiting for this person in the lawyer's office, in the bank to bring a check, and they have disappeared, and they never pick your phone again. So, but again, when I look back and I see that, you see, again, I reiterate, this is a capital intense.
Yes.
So those monies that come through,
Yes.
especially if the property belongs to you,
Yes.
is huge amounts.
Yes.
And I look at it retrospectively, and if every person who came through you bought,
Yes.
how much money would you have? Wouldn't you think that other people don't know how to make money?
Uh-huh.
And I've realized that it's also a way of also teaching you and training you also as an individual about your attitudes and about value.
Yes.
That you value other people.
Yes.
That you understand even actually your relation with God.
Yes.
Because sometimes you go deep into prayer because you have gone through a dry season.
Fasting and prayer.
A dry season for a long time. But eventually,
Yes.
you get that one client and they start flowing with time, and then you remember those days and you really thank God for it, because at the end of it, it's by grace.
Yeah, it is true. If we all had the patience when we are dealing with our each and every our everyday activities, would be very far. And as always, subscribe, share, like, comment on this channel. We are creating this information because of you.